week 7 of the fantasy football season, and here's a few tight ends I would drop this week. The first guy, Cameron Brate of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So Cameron Brate was a big pickup over the last couple weeks, but he's shown nothing since Rob Gronkowski's gone down with his rib injuries. Week 5 versus Miami, 1 catch for 12 yards. And week 6 at Philly, 3 catches for 26 yards. So week 7 here, he's got a tough matchup versus the Chicago Bears. If Rob Gronkowski continues to be out, they give up the 5th least amount of fantasy points to tight ends. But in my opinion, I think O.J. Howard's the better tight end. And he's a tight end I said to pick up this week if Rob Gronkowski is going to be out. So right now, we're not 100% sure what Rob Gronkowski's status is for week 7. But right now, Cameron Brady's just not a guy that Brady's been targeting. He's not a player that's made plays this season. And right now, he's pretty droppable. So right here, he's a tight end I would drop. The next tight end's Dan Arnold of the Jacksonville Jaguars. So Dan Arnold, I recommended him as a pickup in week 6, but he didn't do much in that week 6 ball game. Was Dan Arnold versus the Miami Dolphins. So right here, he only had 2 catches for 27 yards in that ball game was Arnold. So right now, he's on bye in week 7. And there's been better options on the waiver wire as well this week. We got a Ricky Seals-Jones. Mo Alley Cox, once again, was a guy that could produce. O.J. Howard, like I mentioned. So right here, with Jacksonville on bye, with Arnold, who's going to be consistent and inconsistent by game. He's just a player right now I wouldn't have on my fantasy roster, and an easy one to drop. And the third and final tight end I would drop this week's Austin Hooper of the Cleveland Browns. So Austin Hooper, he's a guy I've mentioned on and off this season as a tight end to drop, and he's pretty much done nothing for the most part of the season. His best game of the year was week 3 versus the Chicago Bears, 2 catches, 19 yards, and a touchdown. Week 4, Minnesota, 1 catch, 11 yards. Week 5 at the Chargers, he only had a 2-point conversion in that one. And week 6 versus the Arizona Cardinals, once again a non-factor, 3 targets and a catch for 4 yards. So right here, I know Hooper was good a few seasons ago with the Atlanta Falcons, but those days are way behind him, in my opinion. And he's a tight end that shouldn't be rostered in fantasy leagues. So that's a few tight ends I would drop here in week 7 of the fantasy football season.